Hey everyone, I wanted to quickly go over the three exceptions to the rule that you're learning about clauses, where a subject always appears to the left of the verb in a clause. So we're learning this week that every clause has a subject and a verb, and that is how we identify it as a clause. If a group of words does not have a subject and a verb, it's a phrase. If it does have a subject and a verb, it's a clause. So we're looking at clauses. I want to scroll down to page 9 and turn your attention to the three exceptions to the rule that the subject appears to the left of the verb always. There's three situations where you're going to find the subject either to the right of the verb or it's going to be inferred. So let's look at those three exceptions. Sometimes in a question, our subject-verb pattern is inverted. So when we're saying, "Where is the book?" it's like saying, "The book is where?" But because we're allowed to invert it in English, the verb is here, and then the book is to the right, our subject. The next time the subject appears to the right of the verb is in a here or there construction. So when a sentence starts with here or there, the subject is always going to be to the right of the verb. So there are many reasons to study hard. Many reasons is our subject, are is our verb. Here's another example of the subject on the left. Is our verb. Another example is the subject. Here we have another where a prepositional phrase, "In the basement were the bats and spiders." Prepositional phrase "in the basement" could be substituted by the word there. So even though this is a sort of unusual construction and we don't usually write or talk like that, sometimes this can happen where if we can replace that prepositional phrase with "there were the bats and spiders," it's the same construction, and bats and spiders is the subjects, and were is our verb. Finally, our last exception to the rule is when there is no subject at all, but in a command, the independent clause starts with the verb. So tell me your answer. Tell is the verb, and the subject is really the implied you. You tell me your answer. You would be the subject. Tell is the verb. But since the sentence doesn't have that, it's just implied by the writer, it doesn't really have a subject. So you can just mark verb for these constructions. So as you begin your exercises down below, you want to look for those three exceptions. Let's see if we can find any here in the answer key, and I'll mark them in right now. Here we have number 4. There is your hat. One of our exceptions. So you would mark this as verb to the right of is, and your hat is our subject. Let's see if we can find another one. The very next one is a command. So it just starts with the verb. The subject is the implied you. You wear it. You don't have to put in the you. You can just identify the verb. And then number 6 is also one of our exceptions. The question, where my scarf is the subject and is the verb. So go ahead and do the rest of these and see if you can find those three exceptions, and then mark all the rest where the subject should be right to the left of the verb. Good luck.